Hello everyone, this is John Galt speaking, here with a live stream. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I decided I would come and do a live stream, and this is a live stream where I answer questions that I have gotten from people who have either purchased my Udemy course on game design, or people who have purchased any of my products who ask questions throughout the weeks. I also take questions from people who show up to these live streams, seeing as how they're never actually scheduled. I don't get a whole lot of traffic. And yeah, just general hanging out. We go to the Unreal 4/5 forums and we look around through some of the topics and I give some commentary on them. And just general hanging around, screwing around, doing nothing, really. I don't really do as much game design as I used to. I don't do private contracts anymore. I don't do private tutorials anymore. I just basically have kind of quit, lost interest in doing this. And, you know, sadly, one of the main reasons is because there ain't no money in it, right? And, you know, people have to have jobs and people have to make money and people have to earn a living. And yeah, so that's what I was doing it for. And so that pretty much dried up. I don't really, you know, get contributions to my YouTube page anymore. I don't get donations or anything like that. So that pretty much killed my motivation for doing this stuff anymore. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not real thrilled about Unreal Engine 5. I don't find it as intuitive as Unreal Engine 4 was, since they changed a lot of the UI and things like that. I don't really have the patience left in me to go in there and learn the nuances of the engine again. Doesn't mean that I can't still do stuff, because it's pretty much the same. Doing things is pretty much the same as it was before. It's finding the things that are a little bit more complex and complicated. All right. And so with that, we'll go ahead and get this live stream started. So hello, Oni, one of my faithful viewers. He shows up. He must have his notifications turned on, which, you know, a lot of people on YouTube, be sure and smash that subscribe button. Be sure and smash that like button. And don't forget to turn the notifications on. I'm not that guy, right? So if you guys subscribe, I appreciate it. If you guys come and hang out with it when I do a live stream, I appreciate it. But I don't beg for followers. Actually, to be perfectly honest, it makes me a little uncomfortable. To know that many people care about what this dumbass hillbilly game designer has to say. It makes me nervous. And I find that hysterical, actually. All right. Well, today is the first Tuesday of the month of August. So for those of you that are unaware, the first Tuesday of every month is when Epic releases their quote unquote free for the month stuff. So maybe we'll go have a look at that, see if there's anything in there worth having or getting or having a look at. So let's just see what we got here. So we got a big office props. We got some kind of a advanced action RPG kit here, which no use to me. We got another set of assets here for a storage house. We got MySQL integration, no use to me. And then we have a cartoon water shader with waves and underwater and buoyancy. There's only one problem with that. It's cartoon. Oh, you know, guys, sometimes I can be a real asshole. Like literally, I can be a real asshole. So let me get this right. Just follow me here. let me vent for a moment. Let me get this right. We have multi-$1,000 costs for graphics cards. We have insane amounts of cores and megahertz for processing power. We have one of the most advanced game engines available, right? Free, don't cost anything. And we're still making fucking cartoon looking shitty games. Is that what we're doing? I mean, seriously, is that what we're doing still? I mean, these graphics for this type shit was on an NES. Why are we still using graphics that were designed for NES in computers that can render real-time CGI? Like, why are we doing that still? I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm an asshole, but I don't get it. I literally don't get it. So anyway, there's my vent for that, as always. Sometimes they add to the permanently free collection too. So let's see if we got anything in here. We got some Egypt stuff. We got some vehicle stuff. You know, this vehicle stuff would be really cool if they actually had a template for vehicles in this engine that was worth a damn. That might be cool. This aircraft, right? This commercial long-range aircraft, that might be a cool asset if they had a flying template that was worth a damn in this engine. But until they solve those two things, those are useless. Sorry, but they are. Sorry, Epic. You need to get your shit together, okay? How about it? And if you're wondering, the templates that I'm talking about are the ones that are built into the engine, right? You know how you got the first person template, you got the third person template, you got a flying pawn template, you got a vehicle template. All of them suck, right? But some of them suck far worse than others. The vehicle being one of the ones that suck far worse than others. The vehicle template is the shittiest vehicle template that I have ever seen in my entire life. But just to mention it here, because I should, if you guys are interested in a fairly decent vehicle template, there is one that exists, and I've actually dicked around with it some. Let me see if I can locate it for you guys. So if you go under the samples, this is an old one, right? So maybe they didn't remove it. Maybe it's still a thing. But there was a template in here. I think it was called Off-Road. Right, where is this thing? I know it's in here somewhere. Right here. Vehicle game. This template right here is actually not terrible. So if you guys are really interested in a vehicle template, the only exception to that is that this is mostly done in C++. But regardless of that, it's still far better than the damn template that they give you that you can create from the template or from the engine, right? So if you guys are really dead set on a vehicle template, start with this, right? That would be my suggestion. Start with this. Sadly, this came out in 2014, right? And they still haven't got one in the engine that you can create by default that's even a fourth as good as this one is. So there you have it. All right, so with that, I think what we shall do now is we will go to the forums and we will start talking about some of these topics here. If it'll let me go. See, I badmouth Epic now. They've locked me out. Right, I can't get in. Can't get in. Screw that John Galt guy. All he does is talk shit. We're not letting him in. I don't blame you, Epic. I wouldn't let me in either. There is one thing that I would like to mention here in the beginning before it gets lost in translation. To the person who bought my simple capture the flag template and my Udemy course, first and foremost, let me say thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. Currently, the only source of income that I have at this point is people who purchase those products. And, you know, with the economy the way that it is, and inflation the way that it is, and gas prices the way that it is, the world imploding upon itself the way that it is, I have taken a really sharp decline in the amount of sales that I was getting. So I'm not making hardly any money, like $50 a month kind of money, which is no money. So I really do appreciate that. And also, if any of you haven't bought any of those, I would appreciate it if you would. I could really use it at this time. But to that person specifically, and I'm not going to say your name, you know who you are, when I talk about what you asked me. And the question that he asked me was if I would go through the process of showing how to take my simple capture the flag template and add character select into the menu and add selecting a weapons loadout into the menu system. Okay. And to that person, I would say to you that I would be willing to do that and put it on my YouTube page so that everyone could get benefit from it. But I cannot and will not do it for free. Okay. I do appreciate you purchasing my little $6 template and my Udemy course. I really do appreciate it. And watching that Udemy course, even though I don't specifically do in that video what you're asking, if you watch that series and follow it all the way through, you should have a pretty good idea on how that could be achieved. Okay. But if you are dead set on me giving you step-by-step instruction, starting with the capture the flag, the simple capture the flag template, the way that it comes from the UE4 marketplace, the default version of it, if you really want to see me do that from there, I don't know exactly how many videos it would take, but it would be a few, okay, because there's a lot to be explained about that process. But I would not be able to do it for free. Okay. So if you want me to do that, the only way that that is going to happen is if you make a fairly significant contribution to my efforts here on YouTube. And the way that you do that is in the description of any video that I make, or in the banner of my YouTube page. There's some buttons on the right hand side of the banner. One of those is to my PayPal account. If you send a contribution with either of those links to my PayPal, I'm not going to tell you how much, right? But just know that it'll probably end up taking about 3 or 4 1-hour videos in order to achieve what you're asking, with clear, concise instruction. Okay. Not just you watch me click up a bunch of buttons. There will have to be a discussion about, okay, so here we are. Here's what we want. How do we get from here to there? And why do we go this way instead of that way? Right. So it would take some explanation and stuff. So let's just say that I generally make $25 an hour when I do private contract work. Okay. Let's just say that. I generally cut people who view my YouTube content or purchase my products. I generally cut them a deal, and I don't charge as much to them people as I did professionally to professional game studios and stuff. So with that being said, I generally charge $25 an hour. Consider yourself a discount, and it would take 3 or 4 1-hour videos. That'll give you an idea of how much I would expect in a contribution in order to make the content that you would like to see. And if you're willing to do that, I will make those videos for you. If you're not willing to do that, if anyone else that sees this video would like to see something like that, you could take his place and make the contribution in his stead, and I will still make the videos. just be sure that when you do send me a contribution, when you do that, it gives you the opportunity to type in a little message like, hey, John, it's me. I'd like to see that. Here's my contribution. That's what would let me know, okay, well, that's what this contribution is for. So then I could make the video. And just to reiterate, what the video would consist of would be me taking my simple Capture the Flag template that is currently available for sale on the UE4 marketplace for $6, taking that, adding a character select to the menu system so that before you go into the game to play, you have a list of characters that you can choose from. And then when you select your character, you would have a list of weaponry that you can add to that character. And then when you complete that process, then you pick your team and then you hit the go button. Then you spawn into the world with the character that you selected with the loadout that you chose. All done for multiplayer and replicated. And it would be done in Unreal Engine 5 because as bad as I hate Unreal Engine 5, that is the current engine version. So that would be what it would be for. So you figure around about $100 contribution. I'll just go ahead and say it. I would be willing to do that. Now, if you want to make those weapons shoot, on top of not just getting them put onto the character, if you want a instruction on weapon firing mechanics, that's something that you should be able to gather from my Udemy course. But that could also be added onto this tutorial, okay? Series of tutorials. It would be more than one. Let me get me a drink here. I'm drinking a root beer, by the way. It's good stuff. All right, now let's get into the forum serpent bit here. I've rattled enough. So we're going to go into the multiplayer networking section because that's generally where I reside. And let's just read through some of these topics here and see if we would talk about some of these. So client won't replicate animation. You know, I generally don't drill down into these, but you know, guys, there's a lot of content on my YouTube page that is free, that covers a lot of these questions that people asked. I used to come here and post, hey, I covered that in this video. You should go up to my YouTube page and watch it. I quit doing that. Okay. But guys, just so you know, every single video that is on my YouTube page, the vast majority of them can contain very useful demonstrations and or explanations of things. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is actually a video where I actually specifically show how I get animation to replicate. And it ain't the way that a lot of people would think that it is, right? Just so you know, the default animations in Unreal Engine replicate by default. Like you're running forward, backward, left, right, jumping. All that stuff just replicates magically. Generally, when they're talking about client won't replicate animation, generally what they're talking about is montages. Like I can't get my reload animation to replicate, or I can't get my crouching animation to replicate, right? That is different. And that is what I cover on my YouTube page. I show how, okay, well, you want your reload animation to replicate. Here's how I do it. And it works every single time. And it's not as complicated as a lot of people make it out to be. Okay. So look through my YouTube page and see if you can locate that. Let's see here. In a multiplayer game, can non-possessed actor have multiple owners? Pixel streaming sucks. Set network player relevancy with respect to other network player. Dynamic creation of an actor and spawn it to a socket. Replication question in the third person character. What's the question, right? Generally people put it in there. I normally don't go that far, but let's just poke in here and see. Let's see. Before this, I have learned something about it in UE4 editor. Run as client for 2. Then there will be 2 characters. It is easy to understand. 2 clients join, serve, and serve spawn actors. It serve map. Then I have no, I can't decipher that. His first language may not be English, but I can't. That makes my brains hurt trying to read that. So we're not gonna go any further into that. See, I told you guys I can be an asshole sometimes. But yeah. Let's see here. Simple set actor rotation RPC. Let's see. Local co-op. 1 player is being moved by all players. Player state, get player name, car limit. Can't launch Pi client. Help changing net mode. How to reconnect to the server after it's disconnected. I don't know, right? I would imagine you would just have to research it and find it again. I'm all the products that I sell on the UE4 marketplace is a very simple menu system. I am not a UI guy. I know how to make it work in the background behind the screens that you see, like the join server button, the search server. I know how to do all that. But when it comes to the actual creation of the UI, like making the little buttons and the little boxes and, you know, all, I am absolutely the world's worst at that stuff, which is exactly why all my products contain a very simplistic menu system. Terrible at it. Takes me way too long to do some of the simplest tasks in that. Auto matchmaking. Hey, I need help with testing my multiplayer. Like, how do I get my friend to join? How are you hosting it, right? Like, are you doing a dedicated server? Are you doing a listen server? Are you doing a split screen server? Are you doing a LAN server? How are you doing your server? Movement mode being overridden by move falling. Can't do server build with Lyra. Dedicated server, Steam failed to respond. Steam stuff is broken in Unreal Engine 5. So a lot of these problems that people are having with Steam specific issues, they broke it in 4.27 and it is going to remain broken until Unreal Engine 5.1, right? So that could be a while. So if you guys are interested in using the Steam side of, listen servers, you're going to be in for a wait. You're either going to have to use a version previous to 4.27, or you're going to have to just go ahead and do it, but you're not going to be able to fully test it properly until they correct the issue that they made in Unreal Engine 5.1. And that could be a year from now. I have no idea. Tick calling code in all actors. How can I avoid it? How to handle projectile movement events in a multiplayer game. Projectile movement events in a multiplayer game. Let's drill down in here and see what he's doing. I'm trying to replicate the Ballistics FX pack. I'm not even sure where to start. Okay, well, here's what I would like to say. We took a look at that in one of these videos, right? I don't remember which video it was, but we took a look at it. And I know exactly which pack he's talking about here. We can go ahead and click it up here if you guys are curious. He's talking about this pack. And we looked into this, and we looked at this pack. I don't remember why, where, or how, but we did. And that was the most convoluted, complex, complicated, aggravating project that I have ever seen in my entire life. Well, actually, that's not true. The advanced locomotion's far more convoluted than this. But we took in a video on my YouTube page somewhere, it exists still, should be on here. We took what they did and we replicated it in 5 minutes, right? Making projectiles, come out of a gun, making it make a sound, making it have a particle effect, making it hit the ground, making it fly up, particles up off it. We did exactly what that person did in that template for multiplayer, by the way, and it took a whopping 10 minutes. So my suggestion to this fellow here would be, don't even just use the effects out of that. Don't try to take what he has already coded and scripted and try to convert that into multiplayer. Simply take his particle effects and his sound effects and make them replicate yourself, because you're never, ever, ever going to be able to take what he did and make that work for multiplayer. Ain't gonna happen. If I can't do it, I guarantee you somebody who's on the forum asking this question is not going to be able to do it. And that ain't me being braggadocious either. That's simply me stating a fact. I wouldn't even attempt it, right? Not even attempt it. So that would be my suggestion for that fellow. Let me get me a drink here. I talk too much. It makes my mouth dry. Let's see. Let's see here. The status of network prediction plugin. Simple set actor. Local co-op. I think we already read these. Oh yeah, we got to scroll down some. Steam issue when project migrate to 5. Yeah, I know Steam's broke. Does nobody look at the bug reports, right? Like, nobody? Everybody comes in here asking the same question. Steam ain't going to work. It's broke. Spawn actor not working with listen server. Well, that one's resolved. Face replication. About input of other players. Why is pawn not moving? UE5 collision error. AWS Unreal Engine 5. How to use server travel in blueprints. Resolved. That's good. Changing character movement speed in C++. I have no idea because I'm not a C++er. Publishing a free-to-play game using Lira. So somebody's doing an asset flip. They're going to take Lira and put it up on Steam or something. Hey, check out this game that I made. And they didn't make it. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. Terrible. Need help setting up a Cullis, replicate spawned resource. UE4 variable replication help. Server can't see client's name widget when it's screen space. Rep notify owner only, not triggers on listen server. Find session always returns 0. Advanced sessions cannot host Steam session. See, that person knows. But according to him, it's in 4.26 as well. So it may actually be broke in 4.26, 4.27, and 5. Player state not valid after server travel. Replicate user names in widget component above my character. Resolved. It looks like there's more people actually coming on here helping people these days than there used to be, which is a good thing. Non-seamless travel. Spawn actor of blueprint inherited class. How to switch clients in automation test. Server travel doesn't work in package. Let's see. Understanding Epic Online multiplayer clients never working. Unresolved. What about them ain't working? Right? Be more specific. What about them ain't working? Trouble with getting replication to work. Client audio and video streaming. 4.14 spawn actor from class replicates twice on client. Well, it's resolved, which is good. Hello, Mr. Ripper Junkie. What's happening? Remote database with blueprints. Let's see. Character doesn't rotate on spawn actor. I think we read some of these a month ago, right? I think it's been about a month since I did a stream. Let's see. Replication server sees changes to character mesh, but client does not. How to replicate map values, online beacons. One of the properties, C++, advanced sessions, stop hosting from replication. Multiplayer dynamic material. Questions about networking ports. Okay, I think we've read a lot of these. So let's back up one here. Miss your live streams, my friend, but I understand that you only will stream when you are feeling like it. Well, yeah, I had a little bit of a conversation about that at the beginning of the stream. You might go back and watch whenever this is over. But one of the reasons is because of motivation, right? Like you guys that have been around here for a while, you guys should easily be able to tell that I'm not nowhere near as motivated about this stuff as I once was. And, you know, there's a lot of different reasons for that. But one of the reasons is that, you know, there's nothing in it for me, right? And, you know, a lot of people give people shit over that kind of stuff. Oh, hell, you're just all about the money and blah, 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 and everything ought to be free, and you ought to do it just because you do it, and blah, blah, blah. Don't be e-begging, blah, 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 blah. Right? People have to make a living, okay? And that's what I did for a living, was game design. And so giving knowledge out to people and asking very limited amounts of contributions in return, in my opinion, wasn't a bad deal, right? Because I was giving out information that took me years of studying and practicing and learning to be able to achieve. And you could come to my YouTube page, learn something in an hour that took me 3 months to figure out how to do, right? Now, how is that a bad deal? That ain't a bad deal. But, you know, some people thought it was a bad deal. And so when the donations and stuff dried up and the contributions dried up, part of my motivation dried up right along with it. And of course, that ain't the only thing. Lots of things change. Sometimes, you know, people that used to be diehard fishermen quit fishing. They just get sick of it, want to go do something else. Well, that's kind of what happens. You know, when you get burnt out on doing something, it's time for a change of scenery. I ain't one of these people that gets a job at 18 years old and works at the exact same factory from 18 years old till they retire, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, how do people not get sick of doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over? You know, there comes a point in time when it's time to move on and do something different. And so that's part of what happened to me too. Well, what am I doing different? Well, nothing really. Which is hysterical, by the way. Oh, so wait a minute. You got sick of doing game design and you wanted to move on and do something different, but you're not doing anything different. You just moved on from the game design. Well, whatever, whatever. Let's see here. Enemy health bar is being shared by all enemies. How do I make a condition so only one object entering the trigger sets off sound and particle? How to make save game. Casting and referencing blueprint does not work. It's resolved. Why deactivated node not working after using a delay? Unreal Engine 5 crashes on startup. Imagine that. Object applied. Can't get mouse cursor to interact with objects. Can't set this widget component. Let's see. The best ways to learn UE4, 5, add your links here. Auto material landscape coordinates. Save system works with restart, but not with level loading. Changing the class every time the event is called. When set show mouse cursor true, the axis value returned by mouse X will be adulterated with zeros. Wow, that sounds complicated. Let's bring Chad over here. Well, I guess we ought to reinvent ourselves. Yeah, it's good to do that from time to time. You are right when we keep doing the same things over and over again so that we might get burnouts, although we can force ourselves to do it, but to do the same things differently. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did a lot of that too. I tell you guys whenever I make or did make tutorial videos that I generally never do the same mechanic the same way twice. I always tried a little different. And that's so that, not just being different for different sake, but to expand my knowledge. Like, okay, I could do it this way, I could do it that way, or I could do it that way. Now, out of these ways, the true answer is probably a combination of all three of them. This way works better if you go that route. This way works better if you go that route. So, the longest job I ever did was when I worked at Duracell. I worked there for 13 years. And just one day, out of the blue, I decided that it was time for me to move on and do something else. So I called my supervisor and told them that they needed to send somebody to come in and take my place. And they were like, well, why? Are you sick? Are you hurt? And I was like, no, I'm actually quitting. What do you mean you're quitting? I'm quitting. I'm going to do something else. I'm leaving. And they didn't know what to say. They were like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm leaving. It's time for me to move on and do something else. So I took out a piece of paper and I wrote a note and I said, to whom it may concern, and I signed my name, hereby quit. And I taped it onto my computer screen at work. And then whenever that person that they called to take my place came in, they thought I was kidding. And I stuck that on my computer and I said, you make sure that they get this in the morning. And I left. So things change. People change. And whenever I did that, that's when I went and became a over-the-road truck driver. And I did that up until I retired. And I retired early, right? So I did truck driving for, 8 years maybe. And then during that time, I'd paid off all my debt. And towards the end of my truck driving career, that's when I started teaching myself how to do Unreal Engine. game design and stuff. And so then when I retired from truck driving, then I started out as part-time doing Unreal Engine game design stuff. Then that kind of went to full-time for a while. And now here we are, me back to just barely doing it anymore. So things change, guys. Nobody should be, I mean, if you're not happy doing what you do, you need to figure out something else to do. This life is far too short to spend it doing things that you absolutely hate doing. Now, there's a difference between doing what you have to do versus what you want to do. But the goal should always be, imagine how good of a world we could have if people actually got to do the careers and the jobs that they wanted to do. Think about how much more pleasant it would be to go into, say, some business somewhere and interact with them, whether it's to buy something or whatever it is that they do. Imagine if every single person that was in that building working loved what they did. Then you, as a person going in interacting with that business, you wouldn't feel like that people thought you were a nuisance for just being there. Oh, hey, sir, how can I help you? Oh, man, it's good to see you today, right? Could you imagine how much better of a world we would have if people didn't have to pretend like they really liked their job? It would be glorious. But, you know, everybody's got bills to pay. You get stuck doing a shitty job. Well, just because it's a shitty job doesn't mean you ain't still got bills to pay. Whatever. I'm getting off on a tangent here and I didn't mean to. Let's see. I still think you should make a game, even if it's just a small game. I don't know. Who knows what the future may hold? Who knows? I don't know. Let's see. AI perception. How to release abandoned static mesh. Spawn a weapon after picked up. Why would you spawn a weapon if you're picking up a weapon? I don't get it. Why don't you just use the weapon as the pickup? Right? Right? Why are you trying to do all this fakery stuff, right? Like you create a fake weapon blueprint and you lay it on the ground and then you put logic in the fake weapon blueprint that when a character goes over it, it picks it up and then you destroy the one that they walked over, the fake one. Then you spawn a new one and then you attach it to the character, right? Why not just use the real weapon as the pickup? Save you a lot of work in the end, wouldn't it? Right? Oh, you can't do that. Oh, yeah, you can too, because I've done it. It's in my third-person template that I sell on the marketplace. There is no fake weapon pickup. It is the weapon. And when you pick up one off the crate, it takes the one in your hand and puts it on the crate with the amount of ammo it had in it when you put it down. Use the weapon, guys. Don't do all this. I mean, there's a lot of things that you do have to fake. It's easier to fake it. But when it comes to weapon pickups, I'm not a fan of weapon pickups anyway, guys. I'll just tell you. But, you know, people are, for whatever reason, and it really is baffling to me, and I don't quite understand it, they're obsessed with pickups. And I never have understood that. But, you know, to each their own, right? Whatever. Where are the individual position and velocity solver? Let's see. Object to cast to actor, orbit camera, animation montage not playing, slots are correct. What else did I miss? They got it resolved. That's good. Any way to clean a blueprint, i.e. get rid of all the stored information in the nodes. Behavior tree. Can you manually adjust the location of a collision handling override? How to get player to face mouse without moving the camera. Merged assets. Severe UE5 memory leak BP visual debugging. Destroy component does not work. It seems like we ran into that, right? Well, we were doing some kind of stupid video or something and I was having hell. Maybe I wasn't trying to destroy a component. Maybe I was trying to create a component, but there was definitely something foobarred with the components. Line trace collision not working when out of camera. Event dispatcher, user created widget not updating until the engine restart. My character is moving like crazy. Resolved. Animated transform, unable to open package project. How do I solve this error? How to stop the animation blueprint when I enter ragdoll. 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 Well, that's pretty easy to do, right? If you're killing a player, which is generally why you would put a character in a ragdoll, right? Then that means there's to be a variable somewhere called is dead. Right? So when the player's health reaches 0, you have the server set a variable called is dead. And then at some point you put the character into a ragdoll. And if you want your animation blueprint to quit working when the character is in ragdoll, well, then you could do a check in your animation blueprint to make sure that the character is not dead. And then, and only then, do you let the animation blueprint work. Until then, he's in a ragdoll with no animation blueprint. Right? Wouldn't that work? That would work. I'm sure that would work. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but that would work. Boolean variables are very, very powerful. A lot more powerful than people give them credit for, actually. You either are or aren't something, right? You're either dead or you're not. You're either reloading or you're not. You're either firing your weapon or you're not. You're either switching your weapon or you're not. You're either crouching or you're not. And just by those two statements, you either are or aren't, and that's what a Boolean is, true or false, you can control a vast amount of logic in a game simply by using Boolean variables. You either are or aren't out of ammo, right? So when the ammo count reaches 0, you're out of ammo. So when you're out of ammo, you stop firing, right? See how that works? Booleans, guys. Booleans. Very powerful. Let's see. Execute one key at a time. How to attach the skeletal mesh to camera. Best way to set combo box in a separate user widget. How to block player from resizing window. Respawn, blah, blah, blah. Respawn by entering into the trigger box. How to know when a non-character actor is grounded. Maybe that's what that term was I was looking for that day. Rebasing. Initiate world rebasing. Maybe that's the terminology. You guys might not remember this, but in a video quite some time back, somebody was having a problem that when they were doing a listen server, by the way, when whoever was hosting the listen server got too far away from the other players in the listen server, the replication went to shit. And that is because let's just say that when you create a server, there is a center point of the world. Okay. So you a lot of times see people ask, well, how big of a map can you make in the Unreal Engine? Right. And it really ain't got nothing to do with how big the map is. It's how big let's pretend like it's this. I don't know the proper terminology for this, but I know that it exists because I found it my damn self. And I had to seek out the reason for that. Let's just pretend that when you load up a map, that map has a center point, a very center point of the map. And you can go north, south, east, and west in however far away that you want to. But let's pretend that in that center point of the map, there is a big 5G Wi-Fi tower in the center of it. And that's the only goddamn Wi-Fi tower that you get. That's it. Well, what happens is whenever the players get so far away from where that center Wi-Fi tower is, they start losing signal and dropping calls, right? And there is a way, I don't know if you can do it in Blueprint or not, but there is a way that you can move that Wi-Fi tower in runtime, right? So in other words, when the players get this far away, you move the Wi-Fi tower X amount of distance towards them and reset it. But that's the phenomenon that I think this person is talking about here. And it may be called rebasing, right? I don't know, but I know that phenomenon exists. Very strange, very strange. Let's see here. How to create a more complex hit event based on surface type. I think we did that in a video, right? Didn't I make a video one time showing you guys how to do footstep sounds based on the physical material? And then we also kind of said, okay, well, here's how you do bullets that way, right? So that guy needs to go to my YouTube page and watch every single video on my YouTube page. Every one of them. He might become able to figure that out. He could probably figure that out. Let's see. Can anyone share the UE5 third-person template? Why? Oh, that's got my curious. I want the Blueprint version of the third-person template as I haven't downloaded the templates and feature pack. What? I don't know. I don't know. What is he talking about? I don't know. Let's see. I think we're running out of gas here, guys. I don't see anything else. It's really flicking my switches up in here. Let's see. Oh God. Are we really going to go in animation? I think I just threw up a little in my mouth. I hate animation. Hate him. Mixamo characters. Oh my God. Are people still trying to use that Mixamo shit? Really? Really? We have metahumans. We have Lyra game animations. We have Paragon characters and animations, and people are still fucking around with these old junky ass Mixamo stuff. Really? How annoying. Skeletal mesh, how to delete extra bones from the metahumans. I don't know why me mesh looks like this. Can the preset animation? I think a lot of this is the metahuman stuff. I haven't even messed with the metahuman stuff, and I'm not gonna, right? Just to be clear and honest, I'm not gonna mess with it. Let's see, control rig. I'm not a fan of the control rig either, right? Just so you guys know. Not a fan. Control rig, collision not working. FPS camera issue. I wonder what his issue is. Let's drill in. When I walk up to a wall, I can see through it like this. This guy's bad at Googling, right? Okay, guys, look. We're going to talk about this because a lot of people thought that I was full of shit when I said this. So he's having the issue, right, where when you create a first-person character and you walk up to the wall, the camera clips through the wall, right? And, you know, he's Googling, he's trying to find solutions, and he don't understand why this is such a basic problem. Why am I having such a hard time figuring this out? Okay. And then he says here, this is the suggestion that everybody gives somebody who's having this issue. I tried adding a capsule collision and attaching it to my player at various points in the component hierarchy. It's like this, right? So here's the solution. Everybody gives the same solution. Well, you just put a capsule up there, right? And then the camera won't go into the wall. Problem is, you can only have one collision component in a character blueprint that will collide and prevent you from walking into the wall. And that one collision already exists as the capsule component that the player is in. So anything that sticks outside of that capsule component will fucking clip. Period. End of discussion. It ain't gonna stop. And it doesn't matter how many of these extra capsule components and shit you add, it's still gonna fucking clip. Why Epic done this way, I have no idea, but it's true. So the only solutions are a couple, right? One is that you make your capsule component big enough to keep that from happening. Well, if you do that, well, then your capsule component's a lot bigger than your character actually is, which then causes its own set of problems. For example, trying to go through a door and your fucking capsule component's too fat because you had to make it so fat that your camera won't clip that you can't go through the door. So that's not a good solution. Another solution has to do with rendering, right? Now, there is some sort of magical, mysterious way, I don't know how, I've never done it, render depth or some shit to that effect, which can make that stop. But then the problem becomes that you have to create a custom material to put on shit to stop it, right? Which is bullshit too. Another solution to the problem is that you can do what I did in one of my projects, which is when you get a certain distance to the wall, you detect it. And when you detect that you're near a wall, you make the character's gun or arms, if you will, point straight down or straight up or straight left or straight right. But you're really not preventing the clipping. What you're actually doing is tricking yourself into believing that your gun hit the wall and it pushed your gun down when it really didn't. So that's really the only solutions to that simplistic issue that you would think would be so easily rendered moot by simply putting another capsule around wherever the gun is, for example. And it don't fucking work. And see, now I can walk right up to the walls and watch my capsule go right through it, even though it's set to block all. I've tried everything I can think of, and I'm really not sure what's going on here. Lord have mercy. Game design, guys. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Oh. Well, guys, ladies, gentlemen. Animation montage not playing, combining punching animations and walking animations. Spring arm. Depth of field. Maybe that's that funky rendering stuff that I was talking about. Maybe that's what it's called. Depth of field. It's got an actual term for it, but I don't know what the term is. Target render depth or some bullshit like that. I don't know. Root motion animation. Animation curves. Yeah, I don't really see anything else in here worth talking about, guys. We didn't even go into the engine this time. Imagine that. We did not. Maybe we'll crack open the engine. I haven't opened the engine. I don't think I have opened the engine since the last live stream I did that I opened the engine. So that shows you guys how much I do anymore in here. But there was a question that got asked that maybe I'll answer. Maybe it won't take too long if I can fumble my way around in Unreal Engine 5 enough to get it done, but maybe we'll try it. Let's go to the default third person template, because why not? Because that's what we always do. Such a fantastic, simplistic template that anybody can understand it. Bullshit. You guys see what they done to the fucking animation blueprint in this bitch? Easy's ass. Far from easy. All right, let me look at something real quick here, and we will see if I can answer this person's question. And it looks like I may be able to. So the question was, let me see if I can remember. The question was, how could they change the color of the character in multiplayer, right? And make it replicate and work. Like literally take this gray dude or dudette and turn them blue or red or pink or orange or green, right? In real time in the engine for multiplayer. So let's see if we can pull that off real quick, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to get this set up for 2 people. So we're going to go to 2 people. We're going to do listen server. And we're going to go into advanced settings. And we're going to set this to 720 by 512. And then we're going to play in new windows. And we have 2 peepos. Right? Big screen is the server, the smaller screen is the client. Okay. Now, what they wanted to do was just basically set up some kind of a button press where they could just change the color of the character. Simple. So that's what we're going to try to do. Okay. So the reason that I opened this material here is because this is the material that is on these characters. And you can see that inside this material, there is a node in here called color. Now, I'm assuming that that is the color of the character. So let's just see if that is actually, well, I can tell you that it ain't true, because that is actually a texture. Yep, it's a texture. So I don't know if we'll be able to do this or not, right? Maybe we could, can we do the tint? Oh, there we go. We can do the tint. Okay, so if we change the tint, it looks like that pretty much changes the color. So let me save that, and let's just go see if it actually does, right? So let me spawn in here. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So what we're actually going to be trying to manipulate here is the tint. Is that out here anywhere? Mask textures, base color. Yeah, right there. So that's what we're going to be trying to manipulate, is the tint. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can do this. So I guess, hang on a minute. I guess we need to first, let's set this back to what it was. What the hell was this? 111111? Was that what it was? Hell, I don't know. One tab, one tab, one tab. There. That's exactly what it was before without dicking with it. Okay, now we need to go into the character's blueprint. And remember that, by the way, hint. That's what we're going to manipulate. So if we go into this character's blueprint and we go into the destruction script right here, we're going to create dynamic material instance. Maybe we need to get the mesh, right? Let's do this. Let's get the mesh, and then we're going to say dynamic, create dynamic material instance right here. Now, the next thing that we need to do here is check to see how many materials are on this character, right? Because it's probably more than one. So let's go into the character, into the mannequins, into the meshes, and let's open up the female. Is that the one that we were doing? Okay, open. How about now? How about now? Ah, so you can see that this character actually has two materials. Two. Dos materials. Sorry, guys. I had to finish my drink off. So let's see what they are, right? So if we hit isolate, you can see that one material is the head, upper arms, and legs. And then we have another one that's the rest of the body. Okay? So that means we're going to have to create two dynamic material instances. Right? So we're going to duplicate this. And it's still going to be using the same mesh. And I forgot to look. Are they both the same material? Let's hope that they are. 01 and 02. And it looks like they're both childs. Let me hit this browse button here and let's go see if they're just both children of the same material. Which they probably are. Yes, they are. They've just changed this. Okay, so that's fine. It's the same material. Okay. So that means that this needs to be, oh shit, which one of these was it? We don't want the material instance. That's not what we're looking for. We want the actual material. I guess it's that one. Yeah, we're just going to put that one in there. And let's just hope that that's correct. It probably is. Okay, so the element, this is going to be for index 0. And this one is going to be for index 1. Okay. And we will compile that and save it. And we need to promote these to variables here. So we're going to promote this one. And we're going to promote this one. And we can name these. Just call it. What the hell are we going to call this? Let's call this Dynamat _1. And we'll call this one Dynamat _2. Okay. Dynamat 1 and 2. And remember, this is in the destruction script. Okay. So now in the event graph, we're just going to make a key press. Okay. So right click and let's type keyboard C. All right. And we'll do C for color. Keyboard C for color. And then what we're going to do, clients, remember guys, clients can't do shit. So the first thing we have to do is get this up onto the server. Okay, and to do that, we create a custom event. And we will call this server set color. And we will set this to be ran on the server. And then when we press this button, we'll call it here. Server set oh yeah, I spelled it exactly wrong. Why didn't you guys catch that? Stupid spelling. Server set color. Okay. And then we simply take the Dynamat 1 and the Dynamat 2. All right, let's go back into the construction script. Yeah, that's right. Just double checking here. We pull out a Dynamat 1 and we say set vector parameter, set vector parameter value. That's the one we're looking for right there. And we do this for both of these. And the parameter name, do you guys remember the name I told you to remember? If you don't remember, we're going to go back and look, right? So if we go back into the material, remember how we changed the color? We change the tint. So the parameter value name is tint. So we literally need to type in TINT right here. And the value here is going to be the color that we changed to. Okay. So we're just going to stick in a color here, something like purple. And let's go see what happens, right? So theoretically, in all theoreticalness, this should just work. Actually it didn't, but that's okay. Let's see. Yeah, so it does change the color. The problem is we probably should use, let me just see here. See, these are the actual materials that are on this damn character, right? So remember, these are material instances, and the differences are this, right? These textures and stuff are different. So probably what we need to do here is, back in the destruction script, we just need to go ahead and use the material instances that they are using. Okay, so this would be Quinn 1 and Quinn 2. And let's try that now and see if that actually works. Does it work? Potentially, possibly. I don't know. Does that look right? Something don't look right to me. But anyway, let's hit the C. Now you can see that it did change that color, but the materials are still not right. Maybe I've got these backwards. Is that what it is? You know what? Let's do this. Cut out some of this guesswork. Let's go back into here. So element 0 is 1 and that one is 2. So that is correct. Right, but why, oh why is that looking strange? I don't know. We will figure it out. That's Quinn 1 and that's Quinn 2. And then the event graph. All right, let's spawn back in here. Actually, you know what? Let's go back to one screen for a second here because I can't see a goddamn thing. Yeah, see there? The materials are, they're still not correct, right? See that white on her neck? That shouldn't be there. Unless I'm seeing something wrong. Let me go over here in the shade. What in the hell? Well, okay then, fine, have it your way. There's still something broken here. Let me unhook this for just a second. Let me make sure that I didn't break something. Yeah, see, she ain't got that white on her neck now. Okay, so it's something in here. If I can figure out which one it is, maybe we can correct it. Let's see. Okay, so that one is fine. You know what I bet they did? I bet you they created a material instance of a fucking material instance. Wouldn't that be just like them to do that? Wouldn't it? Let's see. Yep, see there? That breaks it instantly. So it's this second one that's breaking it. Yep, see there? Perfect. Okay. So maybe we only need to do that one and it changes both of them. Is that how that works? Let's see. Nope. See, it still needs to change that second one. How in the hell did they do this? Epic, you guys make my brains hurt so goddamn bad it's not even funny. And I've definitely got that plugged up correctly. So why is it when I do the second one that it jacks it up? What have they done here? I spend more time trying to figure out what the hell they did. See, it's that one, obviously. I don't understand. Oh, I see what it is. Do you guys see it? Look at the name right here. Do you see that? It's supposed to be Quinn, dumbass. It's supposed to be Quinn 02. Hello. All right, fine. We'll sort it out one way or the other. Okay, so now we can hook this back up. And now we should be good, except it still don't replicate yet. All right, so now if I hit, oh, look at that. Now we're purple as purple can be, which is awesome. Now we got to make it work multiplayer. Okay, so let's go to 2 and hit play. Oh, got to go in new windows. New editor windows. Okay, and then if I hit C, I see it, but they don't. Okay, so we don't need to do this. We need to go one step further and do a multicast. Okay, so we're going to create another custom event, and we're going to call this one multicast set color. Okay, and this is going to be set to multicast, and the server is going to call it here multicast set color. And then that goes here. So this is one way that we could do it. There's probably other ways too. Okay, so let's try that. So client mashes the button, the server calls the multicast. The multicast actually takes those dynamic material instances and sets the tint right here. So theoretically, this should work now. So if I hit C, oh, look at that, beautiful. And then if I take the client and hit C, oh, look at that, beautiful. So there you go. That's how you can change the color of the character in real time. Minus all the bullshit and me not being able to read and decipher. But that is how you can do it. That's one way you can do it. You could probably change that glow color too, right? Let's go look. Let's go investigate that glow color, right? So if we go back into the Quinn, which one of them's got the glow on it? It's this one. So is there a parameter for that? Oh God. Logo layer color. Is that the one that they're using? Let's see. Logo layer 0. Well, let's just try that, right? So if we try to set the vector parameter, same as we did with the color here, it looks like we may have to do 3, right? So logo layer color 0, logo layer color 1, and logo layer color 2. So let's try that, right? I mean, we already created the material instance. So once you create your dynamic material instance, you can edit any of these properties in here. Okay. So theoretically, we should be able to go back into the character here, and we do another one of these. Oh, no. That's not the right node. That's the node. Okay. And it'll be the same. Actually, it'll only be the number 2, right? That's the one that's got that parameter. And it was called logo layer. Oh, hellfire. Really? Really? The hell was that called again? You got to get this spelling correct or it probably won't work. Can we copy that? Copy display name. How about that shit? I didn't even know that existed. Right? And let's turn it, well, let's just turn it the same color for now. So if we only change the 1, let's just see what kind of an effect that has. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to change all 3 of them. Yeah, you can't really tell that that even changed the color. Well, maybe a little bit. But what we need to do is do all 3 of these. Okay? So we're going to dupe it. And we're going to dupe it. And we're going to chain these together like this. And that is the dynamic material number 2 is the one that's got that in it. And we need to change this name here to 1. And I think this one was 2. And compile it and save it. And you know what? Let's actually make it, let's make it blue. Oh, hell. This is how you would do this for team colors too, by the way. Like if you wanted red team to be red, blue team to be, well, of course you'd have to have teams implemented, but this would be the same way that you could do that. You can make the red team red with a red glowing logo, and you can make the blue team blue. So let's see, did that actually, I can't tell. Can you guys even tell? I can't tell. Back up a little, lady. We're going to have to change that to some damn color that I can fucking tell. Well, actually, you know what? Let's make sure that this is actually doing what we think it's doing. Yeah, it changes the color of it for sure. Okay. Maybe we could make this be a little bit easier to do and promote this to a variable so that we can change one damn color and change them all. Now let's pick some color that we can actually see. How about green? Can we tell? Why do I sit in here dicking with this stuff? Does it look green? It looks green, doesn't it? Just say yes. Yes, it does. It looks green. I can tell. So it is working. Okay, that's it. Demonstration complete. So that's how you can manipulate the trick to it is the dynamic material instance. That's the trick to it. So any mesh that you have is going to have materials on it. And if you want to manipulate these materials at runtime inside the construction script, you create these things called dynamic material instances. And you would have to create one for every material that you wish to manipulate, right? So in this case, this character has 2 material elements. You guys could see how big of a pain in the balls this would be if you're using these characters that for whatever reason, whoever created them decided to put 22 goddamn material elements on them. Then that means you would have to create one of these for 22 goddamn material elements, which is ridiculous, by the way. Okay. And then once you get them stored into variables, you can then take those variables anywhere inside your blueprint and do your manipulations. You just have to know what the names of the parameters you're trying to manipulate are. Okay. So in this case, the tint changes the color of the character, and the logo layer 0, 1, and 2 changes the glowy bit of the character. Simple, but effective. It works. You could probably do like an outline the same way, like you could put an outline around the character when they're taking damage as an example. There's lots of cool things you can do by just manipulating the materials. You can even turn a goddamn character invisible by just changing the material. How about that? Who would have thought that? Oh yeah, that's definitely changing. Yep. All right, there you go, guys. And with that, I'm going to end the stream here. I appreciate you guys that tuned in live, or anyone who watches this after the fact. If you, for the person in the beginning of the stream, if you want to see those tutorials made, you know how to have them made. For those of you who are curious as to what I'm talking about, go back and watch the beginning of this video, and I talk about someone requesting a series of tutorials, and I told him that I would make them, but not for free. They have to be funded. So if any of you guys want to fund them or help fund them, that information is contained at the beginning of this video. So you guys take care. This is John Galt, and we will see you in another video in another time. Have a good one, fellows and fellettes. There's ladies around here.